The morning sun peeked over the golden rooftops of the royal palace, sending soft beams of light across the fields and forests beyond. The birds had already begun their cheerful songs, filling the air with music that sounded like laughter. In her royal chambers, Cinderella awoke to the sound of fluttering wings at her window. A pair of doves perched on the sill, cooing softly as if they had something important to say. "Good morning," Cinderella whispered, opening the window so they could fly inside. One of the doves dropped a small petal onto her hand, a tiny silver blue petal that shimmered like moonlight. "How curious," she murmured, smiling. "I've never seen a flower like this before." Just then, the prince stepped into the room, already dressed for the day. "Still talking to your bird friends?" he teased gently. Cinderella laughed. "They always bring news before anyone else does," she said. "Look at this, isn't it lovely?" She showed him the glowing petal. The prince turned it over in his hand, puzzled. "It's beautiful," he said, "but I've never seen a flower that shines like this. Where did it come from?" Cinderella looked out toward the distant forest. "That's what I'd like to find out," she said. Later that morning, she saddled her white horse, Luna, and rode out beyond the palace gates, following the flight of the doves as they circled playfully ahead. The path wound through fields of daisies and tall grass that swayed in the breeze. The sky was a soft blue, and the scent of wildflowers filled the air. After some time, she reached a part of the forest she had never visited before, quiet, untouched, and wrapped in mist that glowed faintly in the sunlight. Cinderella dismounted and tied her horse near a tree. "Stay here, Luna," she said gently. "I'll be right back." She walked deeper into the woods, her slippers brushing through the dew-covered grass. The deeper she went, the cooler the air became, and she began to notice something strange. The trees around her were all blossoming in different colors, but only on one side. The other side of each branch was bare, as though the flowers had forgotten how to bloom. She paused by a crystal-clear stream that flowed through the clearing. On its far bank stood a tall, silver gate covered in ivy and vines. Behind it, she could see faint glimmers of light, like tiny stars floating between the leaves. "How beautiful," she breathed. As she reached out to touch the gate, it suddenly shimmered and spoke in a gentle voice. "Who seeks the heart of the enchanted garden?" Cinderella stepped back in surprise. I'm Cinderella," she said softly. "I didn't mean to intrude. I just followed the light." The gate's voice was kind but firm. "Only those with pure hearts may enter. Do you seek beauty? Or do you seek to care?" Cinderella hesitated, then smiled. "To care," she said. "Always to care." The vine slowly unwound, and the gate opened with a soft sigh. Inside was a garden unlike any she had ever seen. Flowers of every color glowed faintly like lanterns. Trees shimmered with golden fruit, and tiny streams of light flowed between the roots. Butterflies that sparkled like jewels fluttered above the blossoms, and the air smelled like honey and rain. But as Cinderella walked deeper into the garden, she noticed something sad. The plants closest to the center were fading. Their petals drooped, and the once bright colors had turned pale. From behind a large rosebush came a weary sigh. "Oh dear, muttered a small voice. Cinderella turned and gasped softly. It was a tiny man, no taller than her knee, wearing a green tunic and a hat made of petals. His face was wrinkled like an old walnut, and his beard was made of silver moss. He carried a watering can that seemed almost too heavy for him. "Oh, hello," Cinderella said kindly. "Are you the gardener here?" The little man straightened his back. "Indeed I am. Or I was," he said sadly. "But the garden's magic is fading, and I don't know why." Cinderella knelt down to his level. "Maybe I can help," she said gently. "Tell me what happened." The gardener sighed. "The enchanted garden blooms with the love and joy of those who visit it. But for many moons, no one has come to care for it. People have forgotten how to listen to nature. Without love, even magic grows tired. Cinderella's heart ached. Then let's remind it, she said softly. She picked up a small trowel lying nearby and began to clear away the weeds. The gardener blinked up at her. A princess doing garden work? He muttered in disbelief. Cinderella smiled. I was once a servant. Remember, kindness doesn't depend on titles. All that day, Cinderella worked beside the little gardener. She watered the roots, trimmed the vines, and whispered gently to each flower. You're still beautiful, she said softly to a fading rose. You just need a little care. Slowly, the garden began to stir. The wilted blossoms lifted their heads, and faint glimmers of light returned to their petals. The gardener's eyes widened. It's working. You're bringing it back. By evening, a soft golden glow spread through the trees, and even the air seemed to hum with joy. The garden was coming alive again. The butterflies danced in circles, and the streams sparkled brighter. The gardener wiped a tear from his eye. You've done it, Your Highness, he said gratefully. You saved the enchanted garden. But Cinderella shook her head. Not me, she said. We did it together, you, me, and the love still living in this place. Just then, a soft light appeared above the central fountain. Out of the light floated a graceful spirit made of petals and stars, the guardian of the garden. Her voice was like wind chimes. Cinderella, she said kindly, your heart has rekindled what was lost. You have reminded us that even the smallest act of care can awaken great magic. Cinderella bowed her head humbly. I only did what anyone with love would do, she said. The guardian smiled. As a gift, I offer you this, a single seed of the enchanted garden. Plant it wherever your heart feels joy, and it will bloom, bringing peace to all who see it. She placed a tiny glowing seed in Cinderella's palm. Cinderella smiled gratefully. Thank you, she whispered. I'll keep it safe. When she returned to the palace that night, the stars were bright and the air was warm. She planted the seed just below her balcony, where she often stood to watch the stars. Within moments, a small sprout appeared, glowing softly in the moonlight. By morning, it had grown into a beautiful flower with silver-blue petals, the same kind the doves had brought her. It shone so brightly that people passing the palace walls could see its light, and soon everyone in the kingdom came to admire it. The princess's flower, they called it, a symbol of hope and kindness. And whenever someone was sad or lonely, they would visit the garden, sit beside the glowing blossom, and find comfort in its gentle light. The little gardener visited often, too, now cheerful and busy once more. Your Highness, he said one morning as they tended to the flower together, you've restored the magic of not just the enchanted garden, but of every heart that believes in care. Cinderella smiled, brushing a bit of soil from her gloves. Magic is just love that grows, she said softly. That night, as she looked out over her balcony, the fairy godmother appeared beside her in shimmer of gold. You've learned another beautiful truth, my dear, she said warmly, that the world blooms brightest when touched by kind hands. Cinderella smiled. I think I'll keep planting kindness, she said, wherever I go. The fairy godmother chuckled softly. And that, she said, is why your heart will always make magic. With a twinkle of her wand, she disappeared into the starlit sky, leaving behind a trail of soft golden sparkles. Cinderella stood quietly, gazing at the glowing flower below. Its light flickered gently, as if it, too, were alive, a reminder that every act of care leaves a little bit of magic behind. And so, dear dreamers, remember this: when you care for the world around you, for people, for animals, for nature, you make the world bloom brighter. The magic isn't in wands or wishes, but in the love we share every day. If you loved this magical tale, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Little Dreamland Tales, And ring the bell so you never miss another heartwarming bedtime adventure. Sweet dreams, little ones, and may your kindness make the world blossom, just like Cinderella's enchanted flower.